Another rare act of journalism is broken out at Fox News over the Podesta emails released by Wikileaks. Now, the DNC recently has been using the talking point of, hey, let's ignore the Wikileaks emails. Why? Because they were stolen by the Russians. They're from the Russians. Don't look at them. Whatever you do, don't look at the emails. Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia. I got an example of this. Clinton campaign chairman Robby Mook went on Fox News on Sunday when Chris Wallace pointed out the hypocrisy of ignoring the comments of the emails simply because of how they were obtained and from where. In fact, let's take a look at that, and then we're going to break it down afterwards.
There is some new stuff because we have gotten emails that indicates what was going on. This was happening in 2015, just as she was about to announce her campaign for president, and the emails show, and I'm going to go through some of them, you were not happy at all with the idea of this meeting and her going there at that particular point. January 18th email from Uma Abedin to you. It will break a lot of China to back out now when we had so many opportunities to do it in the past few months. She, Clinton, created this mess, and she knows it. Same day you write, HRC is still considering. March 24th, you to John Podesta. Uma said it was still happening, then said that she's going to cancel at the last minute, but it sounded a little tentative, just sounded more up in the air than I thought it was. You didn't want this huge contribution from the King of Morocco just as Clinton was announcing for president.
Well, I didn't want anything on her schedule that was going to distract from the campaign. And again, the Clinton Global Initiative had this meeting scheduled in Morocco.
But it was the big money from a foreign person to the foundation at the time she's running for president.
This was, as you can see in those emails, this was a scheduling matter, and we didn't want her going overseas. I didn't want her going overseas before the campaign was kicking off. But again, these are stolen documents, stolen by the Russians. It's now confirmed from John Podesta. They are being put out for exactly this purpose.
Well,
the Russians and Donald Trump want this campaign to be about something else right now.
Well, let me just speak to that, though, because, you know, the Trump tax returns were stolen as well when they were mailed to the New York Times. You guys didn't object to that. In fact, you jumped all over them.
Well, we don't know where those tax returns come from.
Well, they were clearly stolen.
We don't know, and you'd have to work with the New York Times on that.
Do you think that Trump had given them?
I don't know. I don't know how they got to the New York Times.
I guess what I'm saying is if we're looking at the fruits of that theft, and I will call it a theft, it's fair to look at the fruits of your theft.
I think what's particularly disturbing in this situation is that the intelligence community has now confirmed that John Podesta's emails and the DNC emails were stolen by the Russians.
I know about the Russian connection. I'm talking about the $12 million from the King of Morocco and the fact that this continues to sort of show the line between private and public and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation.
I think we got to look at what decisions were made. There was a meeting in Morocco. Secretary Clinton decided not to go, focus on her campaign here. And again, we're having this discussion because the Russians want us to.
Chelsea Clinton went, correct?
My understanding is that they did go, but she did not. And again, this is the discussion the Russians want us to be having. They stole this information. They're selectively leaking. I can't even verify any of the information that you have there. We simply don't have enough time as a campaign to
promise you,
sort through all these documents.
If these were not true, you'd tell us.
So, I love that. If these were not true, you'd probably tell us. That right there was awesome. Look, I'm not a huge fan of Chris Wallace, but every once in a while, he actually looks like an actual journalist doing real journalism. So that was awesome. So I want to get into the details here, right? So here they go. As soon as somebody says, "Hey, WikiLeaks, this had been revealed, possible pay to play in Morocco, WikiLeaks." As soon as you say that, they instantly go, "Russia, Russia, Russia." It's Russia. Can't verify these emails. But we know it's from the Russians, right? Now, we could verify these emails if you noticed that he said that, but hey, we don't have time. So let's just go and blame the Russians. I mean, they want us talking about this anyway instead of how terrible Donald Trump is. Well, look, I've got news for you. The media is talking about Donald Trump and how terrible he is. That's not news. What is news is pay-to-play corruption, which is actually what we're trying to talk about. But this guy wants to stick his fingers in his ears and say, Russia, 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 Russia. I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And you shouldn't just leave it simply to this guy. It is the entire Clinton campaign, including Hillary Clinton herself. So one of my favorite rhetorical concepts that I learned in graduate school, and I hope I don't get too far off the geek deep end here, But you've talked about
Impossible.
video games before, Jeff, so I feel like we can dive into geekdom on the show. But there's a concept called God terms and devil terms, and it's nothing to do with spirituality. It's just and it's the terms, like a God term is something we always associate with something positive, like innovation. In fact, if you look at the AT&T mergers, they talk about how this will stimulate innovation. They don't explain how, they just say it. It's a PR gimmick. Devil terms are something we always associate with something negative. Russia, to some degree, is a devil term in our sphere because of Putin, because of nationalism, and so forth. So the Clinton campaign, by doing this, by employing this tool, they're trying to discount WikiLeaks by just making, as you put it, plugging their ears and saying Russia. This is a lazy tactic, and it's the same nationalistic, xenophobic tactic that they criticize Trump for. And I think she'd be better off confronting the information that's in there. In the third debate, when she tried to pivot away from WikiLeaks by doing the Russia thing, that was a bad play on her part, and Trump was able to call her out on it and put it back on her. That was one of his better moments in the debate and one of her weaker moments in the debate. If she would have just confronted it and she'd be like, yeah, let's talk about what's in there. When I talk to Goldman Sachs, I tell them, hey, I'm going to try to be fair to you guys while still looking out for the American people. Yeah, I care about motivating voters. I published some stuff about, like I was trying to study my opponent with Bernie. Is there a lot of disheartening stuff in those WikiLeaks? Of course there is, absolutely. But for most of the people that aren't fans of Clinton, this isn't stuff that we didn't already know.
Right.
She'd be better off just confronting it and just owning it instead of trying to have this xenophobic Russia straw man.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean, I think this is a big mistake on the campaign's part. But I can totally see why they're doing it. They're trying to win over those undecided voters, and by pivoting WikiLeaks Russia, they have a better chance at doing that.
Right. And look, that's going to be a strategy that's going to ultimately, I think, fail. And it just because it's such a bad strategy, and it's so you can see through it. It's very transparent, which ironic, that's like one of the only things that's really transparent about Hillary Clinton. So, but look, my favorite part about this interview about Chris Wallace doing this is when he said, "Look, yeah, you talked about you jumped on the Trump tax returns, right? That were leaked to the New York Times. Well, that's also a theft of data. You jumped all over it, didn't say, oh, but you stole it. Therefore, everything's in there is invalid." I mean, he said, look, we don't know where they came from, but guess what? We're still going to talk about this whole thing, this whole Trump tax thing. So, look, how do you know that the Trump tax returns are more real than the Podesta emails? Well, you don't, right? Mm-hmm. You don't. But see, they make Trump look bad. So guess what? Our campaign, we're going to jump on them anyway. But if there's emails that make us look bad, well, we're not going to, we're just going to blame Russia for them, essentially. Mm-hmm. And look, here's the other thing, right? You don't even have proof that they're from the Russians. Yeah, there are some experts that are out there, so-called experts out there, that are claiming, oh, they're from Russia, they've been tampered with, etc. But look, these experts have been wrong before. And that's something to point out.
There's been a few swings and misses. Yeah. Not saying that this is or isn't one. We don't know. But,
we don't know.
But there's been a few swings and misses.
Now, look, here's the other thing, right? They could verify these, but they choose not to. And you saw his excuse. We could, but we don't have time. Well, how convenient for you that you just don't have time to verify these emails,
Mm-hmm.
And look,
I think from a strategy standpoint, and I'm not defending what's in those documents. I mean, there's a lot in those documents that's very discouraging, but I mean, nothing was, or at least to the extent of my knowledge, nothing was anything that's terribly surprising. She's pro-fracking. She's in bed with Goldman Sachs. She's, like very critical of Bernie, really off-putting towards him,
Right.
especially during the primary. I mean, this was all stuff that we knew. I think she'd be better off just owning it and burying it instead of just letting it linger and having this xenophobic Russia pivot. We should call it the Russia pivot and try to get the hashtag trending.
Oh, that would be awesome. Because that's
Let's do
exactly
it.
what she's doing. And look, we've had some...
Do the Russia pivot. Sorry.
So we've got some things going on with, with Russia, like some problems with Hillary Clinton's foreign policy when it comes to Russia. For example, the Syrian no-fly zone. That's going to put us in conflict with Russia. So, we're looking at this. I mean, we're, at this point, geopolitical foes, right? So I guess it's easy to point to them and say, they're the bad guy. Look at Putin. Now, Putin's not a great guy.
No, absolutely
Unless
not.
you
Yeah,
ask
I mean,
George
that's-
W. Bush, because George W. Bush, he looked into the man's soul and realized that he was just a good guy. Called him Pooty Poot. So what changed since then? I mean, what's really changed? Oh, okay. Well, you could talk about Crimea. That's probably a good point. But as questionable as Russia is and their intentions, I don't necessarily think or believe that they would be. That they would care enough about our election. Sure, does Donald Trump owe Russia money? Of course, right? That's already been proven. That doesn't necessarily mean that WikiLeaks is in the pocket of the Kremlin, or that these emails are fake, or they're forgeries. Because look, there is one simple thing that they could do, the DNC. They could come out and verify these emails. But again,
right. and
they won't.
And let's not forget that even if, whether Russia is involved or not, the information is still there.
Right.
Focus on the actual information. And
What's in
I
it?
think it would be in the Clinton campaign's best interest to just confront it. But they're not going to do that.
Right. And look, I've got one more point here. Don't think that we don't know why Chris Wallace and Fox News and Megyn Kelly have been talking about these, right? Have been actually, yes, they've been doing what looks like actual journalism. Now, it's not because they actually care about the Fourth Estate or getting all the facts out. No, this is a political issue, right? This has turned into a political issue, and it's something that Trump supporters and Republicans can seize on, going after Hillary Clinton. So let's not pretend that they're actually bastions of good journalism over at Fox News. No, it's a political issue. Hillary Clinton is a rival. But nonetheless, with that established, right now the facts are where they're at. And the facts are that we don't know that it's Russia. We don't have any proof. They don't have any proof to say that they've been altered. So for now, we're taking them at face value because we've been offered no proof that they're, not what people are claiming that they are.
This is like one of those mob movies where you're just like, if you're watching it with like a child or something, well, who's the good guy? Well, technically nobody's really a good guy or a bad guy per se.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.